morning. How are you today?
I am fantastic, Wendy. How are you today?
Doing good, doing good. Excited. We're episode 11.
Episode 11. Hey, I know those of you who watched last week, thank you for tuning in on episode 10. And now we're just going to soar through the double digits.
That's right. We're over the hump. We're over the hump of that halfway point. I love it.
Triple digits on the horizon. I see it.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it. Well, welcome everybody to Putting the Feel Back in Tuesday. Like I always say hello to our people that tune in every week. If you're here already, if you don't know what we're all about, we're just a podcast dedicated to putting the feel back in Tuesday. Talk about inner growth and self-improvement and normalize some feelings, validate some feelings, and offer a safe space to do that. And maybe provide some unique perspectives on, feelings or even just other random fun ideas, and learn how to embrace our true selves. It sort of changes every day, right? So we are your hosts. I am Wendy.
And I am JC, the editor and co-host of this podcast.
Yes. So we are into April. How was Easter?
Gosh, great question. Didn't have much of an Easter out here. Uh,
Mm,
yeah, it didn't really feel like much of an Easter at all, other than, yeah, not much of an Easter, truthfully, this year. Typically, Tammy, who rents us the basement apartment, she will normally make a nice big feast on the holidays,
oh, yeah.
and she invites us up there to go join her. But this year, she seemed to have not done much of that. There's a lot of busyness in her life, and her
Mm,
husband went back to Ontario to do some work. So I
yeah.
think it was just a quiet Easter. No feast was made. We didn't make anything ourselves too fancy. And yeah, was it Easter yesterday? I don't even know.
What Easter Monday was yesterday, and then if people had their whatever, some people do the dinner on like their Friday, or just
Right.
depends. Are they off? It was the end of I know everywhere does it a bit different, but end of spring break here. So Spencer was back at school, so we did our dinner on Sunday. But yeah, it's I think changes as they get older, right? I totally will still hunt for an egg. I don't care.
I was gonna say, did you have an Easter? Did you have an egg hunt?
We didn't do the egg hunt.
No.
Not this time, but we did. We did some games, and then had the dinner. One of where I work, one of the places gives me a ham and a turkey at Christmas, sort of part of a little bonus, and so there's usually one left over after Christmas. And so what do you do? And so it's nice to sort of be able to use that. Sometimes we use it for Thanksgiving or Easter. So yeah, we figured, hey, why not? Let's make the food.
Got some turkey in you?
Yep. And
Oh yeah.
you do understand the whole like I am
Can't-
sleepy. It is not dessert yet.
Yeah.
Why the adults when you were kids were falling asleep on the couch? It
Yeah.
tracks. I get it.
Oh, there's no better feeling than that tryptophan doze off. You cannot beat that.
And when you're planning the dinner, does this happen to anybody else? You're like, this. As she get to dessert, okay, what are we doing? Are we doing this? Are we making something, buying something? And you just sort of forget that every time you are like stuffed by dessert. No one touches it.
No.
You've spent so much time thinking about it or making it. No one touches it.
Yeah. You gotta force a piece of pie with an ice cream scoop down your throat just to make it, just to please the grandparents.
Right. Yeah, right. But yeah, so it was good. It was no hunt, but that's okay. And next year, like I said, I have just as much fun hiding sometimes. And
Yeah.
if it's nice enough to branch outside, we don't have much of like a backyard or anything. But if it's fun watching other people, if you can tell that's what they're doing, they're out there doing it in their yard.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I wasn't home in Winnipeg this year. I think the last two
yeah,
years I would have missed the hunt, but I've hunted
mm,
every year up until I was like 24. My mom will put some stuff around the house and
yeah, yeah.
I'll search for it. It's a good time. I mean, and then you end up with a big bag of goodies. But
That's right.
remember there was like I think maybe like a 2 or 3 year period where I thought I was probably too cool to egg hunt and I just wanted my treats. So I'm glad I was able to refine the joy of egg hunting.
Right. We when I was I'm not sure if you're gonna remember. And I think there's like newer versions of these now, but do you know what a glow bug is?
A glow bud?
Glow bug. It's like this little toy, probably plastic. It glows in the dark, but there's a bunch, collect them all, right? And they came in their own little sleeping bags, and then with like a little hole so you could like hang them all.
Okay.
And they all had a different story with them and a different name. Like there was a ladybug one with a fancy hat, like, oh my God. And they were called glow bugs. So every year at Easter, I get a new glow bug. You just like go hunting down the trail for that glow bug. And then, yeah, they all hung in the back of my bedroom door. And then when it was like tuck in time, dad would like charge one up in the light and turn off the light and fly it through the room. I
Oh
loved
my
my glow bugs.
gosh.
I still have some.
I was gonna
I,
say, at first I thought this was all current, and then you said
oh
your
no.
dad, and I'm like, okay, so she was a kid. This sounded like this could have been current LB.
Well, I mean, if I could easily find the collection, I might put them on the living room wall. But no, this was back when I was a
Noted.
kid.
I'll have to go searching through eBay. That's a perfect LB20 gift.
Oh, they're adorable. I think there's like newer versions of them maybe now, but yeah, they were just so like, yeah, I just love them. The little sleeping bag was like made of material and you like stick it in there with its little name and story on a little piece of cardboard.
Well,
I
if
loved it.
you can dig one up, bring one onto the show next week because this is fascinating.
Perfect. I love it. I love it. I'm gonna find one.
You have to. All it made me think of was those little military men that have the parachutes and you
Yeah.
throw them off the stairs. But yeah, I've never seen a glow bug.
Yeah, and that's probably the closest I've come to. I don't think I've seen a firefly in real life.
Okay, no.
No, I see. I mean, I should at the off has as often as we're in Saskatchewan. I shouldn't, but we haven't. I see the bats, but
Uh,
he's like, there's always glow bugs out there, but I just never see them. I know there was one night on your in your walk. I think it was the night you were heading out of Ontario.
yeah,
Uh,
that was exactly what I was thinking about.
yeah, you passed this section. I was like staring at the screen.
That
Can
was
I
neat.
see
That was neat. That was like that was the end of my time in Ontario.
that? Yeah,
Can't even remember how many days we spent there now. Nearly 2 months because it's such a big province. But that last day was
yeah.
going into late at night. It was like 11 o'clock midnight, and we were
Um,
just about to reach the border, and there was so many fireflies everywhere. It was like so cool the way just different times of day have different vibes in the world. Like especially not just the glow bugs at midnight out there, but just the
yeah,
fact that there's less traffic and it's all calm and just it's weird to think how different stages of the day have different vibes, you know. You get up early morning sleepy and then everyone's kind of gets up, gets moving, and then there's rush hour after work, everyone's getting home, and then people might
yeah,
take their dogs out, and then the earth settles in around nighttime.
yeah. That quiet, right? That quiet. I love when it starts to hit the golden hour in the evening. That's when it all,
Yep.
there's just that peacefulness with the golden hour that starts in. Love it.
Are you ever like 4:30, 5 a.m. or get up before everyone else and enjoy that peace and quiet?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if I've gone to bed at an insane time, I feel like I've missed something if I don't. Like just that quiet sit, have some coffee. Is there something I need to read? Play my Simon's Cat level. Like
Yeah.
yeah, I feel I miss out if I don't have that. Do you ever
Um,
do that early thing?
I go through phases.
Yeah,
Definitely in the summer a lot more, but
yeah,
in the winter, no. Like just try and get through the winter. I want to be awake in like the sunniest, hottest points of the day when
yeah.
not much heat, a lot of gray. So definitely haven't been getting those early mornings in as much as I'd like to.
Yeah, because in the summer you want to go, even you could go do that outside, your coffee, your Sunday
Yes,
scatlope, your whatever. And so
exactly.
you want to go sit out on the deck and, oh, I gotta go water the flowers. And it brings you out there earlier. And yeah, yeah, it's a different vibe for sure.
Yeah. Oh, but no, we're not even gonna get there because it's still winter here and it's
Yeah.
April the 2nd. I don't know when it's supposed to clear up, but I would love some summer heat, some t-shirts, some shorts,
Yep.
and to get some color on our skin again.
Get us out of that. Yeah, we had some nice days and now we're expecting some more snow for like 3 days. But then it's like rain. Yeah, we might be
Okay.
switching. Yeah. So we
I'm,
might be getting there, but we've got like 3 days of snow coming.
yeah, well, I guess sooner rather than later at this point.
You bet.
Well, I'll be
It's
one
just
last question I had for you before we get into our fields, just because it had me thinking about it. When you were saying you get up early, even if you've gone to bed late, maybe your late's only like 11 or 12. I don't know how late you're staying up, but do you not need your 8 hours? I find like 8 hours are like it's like I need 8 hours. I'd rather have 8 hours than get up early kind of deal. Where do you lie?
well, I probably should get more sleep than I do.
Okay.
8 hours is definitely a good one. But if it's been like a productive enough day, a calm enough day, then I'm okay going to bed at 11. It's like 10 o'clock. It feels weird to me. I'm like, this is very early because I've always been a bit of a night owl. So, when I was younger and could handle it more, at 2 a.m., you're up with your friends, you're chatting, you're watching movie, whatever. So 10 feels a little off brand when that happens, unless I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
So I probably should get a little bit more, but I am that sort of night owl by nature because again, it's some downtime at the end of the day. Or if there's something you just haven't gotten to yet, and you're like, oh, I can sit there and do that at the end of the night. You know what I mean? So yeah, probably should get a little more than I do, but um, I still prefer that wake up and get stuff done.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of night owls out there and I'm not gonna call anyone out, but what I've heard is a lot of the times night owls they feel like they haven't had enough time to themselves in the day, maybe taking care of their kids, working, running after everything, the pets. So obviously, when are you gonna take some time to yourself so you steal it back at the end of the night at the consequence of less sleep the next day? But it's such a hard thing to manage because when are you ever supposed to have time for yourself? And then you take some back, then you lose some sleep, and then you're more tired the next day.
Yeah.
It's
It'll,
hard to find the perfect balance.
yeah. And sometimes it'll drive Steve nuts if I do it on the weekend because he's like, what do you, it's the week, what do you, but then if I sleep in and like, okay, you sleep in, you still have your coffee, you still do your thing. Okay, let's go get the groceries. It, it makes me squirrely to come home from any errand that needed to be done, and now it's time to make supper. No, I would rather get up early because now the day is gone. You
Right.
slept in, you've taken your slow time for coffee and whatever, and now you're in the store with everybody else. And did you have to go to the bank or whatever else you got to do? You come
Yeah.
home and you're like, oh, now I see. Let's start supper. I can't stand that, but
No,
everybody's different, right?
you're so right though, but that's the thing. Like if you just can get out of bed and just get things started, I mean, you really can start your day early, even on the weekends. And then
Yeah.
there's something like there's something about if you do can get that 6, 7 a.m. wake up
Mm,
and you get your coffee and you have that silent morning and you get your full day. There's nothing better than a full day of just living. But then lately, I know since my schedule has been a little looser, just working on this book, um, I bothered me because there would be parts where I would stay up so late because like, hey, I don't need to go to bed. I can keep working on this. And then
Yep.
that's where you give in time on the next day, and then your sleep schedule gets later and later and later. And then you're waking up at, I'm not going to say dinner time, that's excessive, but basically you're waking up and as much as you can pull your day into the night, that's not your day, that's the night. So then you basically don't even have a day anymore. And it's like such
Yeah.
a bad cycle to be in.
If I didn't have errands to do or whatever, it might be different. Or if it was just me, maybe it would be different. But if I was like on the ball and like grocery shop for a week at a time, which is what I should do, it'd be different because then you're like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. We're not in a rush to get out to do errands. I'm just here. So what can I do? Yeah.
So you going back every couple days looking for new ingredients?
Yes, I am one of those. Yeah, it's bad. I used to be a little bit better, like 4 or 5 meal plan, 4 or 5 for the great. I used to be a little bit better, but then all it takes is that one blip sometimes of busyness or something to get you out of that, and then you just.
So,
Plus, I do find that harder with the price of stuff. If you're someone who wants to use the Flash Food app or go in and get stuff when a little.
oh, we
Oh,
had a
there we
little
go.
blip there. Think
Yeah,
someone must have flushed a toilet in here or something.
yeah. You're bad, you're bad.
We're
Yeah,
back.
so it can be a weird battle when you're trying to like still find the deals and the stuff that's on sale at the end of the night. But anyway, we're we got
Well, I gotta dive into this a little more because I'm curious. What
it.
are you
Okay.
going back? Like, are you planning one meal a day, or do you get like maybe one or two meals and then you're back the next day? How does that look?
If I'm really not on the ball, like it's every other day. Yeah,
Oh,
if I'm
okay.
not now, if I'm like, sometimes it just gets. I love to cook. I love new recipes. I love finding stuff, but the planning, like who doesn't like what, blah 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 blah. That to me, the longer you've been doing this, right, the more monotonous it becomes, and so sometimes it's just more frustrating than others. And so if I am walking through the store and I see things that like, oh, I can this, great, I get it, and then
Right.
that's a 3 days worth, whatever. But if it's one of those times where I'm just frustrated or suggested this, and no, we've had that recently, or this, then I'm just like, forget it. I'm just getting today's worth, and I don't care about tomorrow.
This is
So
awesome.
it
I
just
feel like we're
depends.
getting to the crux of something here. So, like, if you're going through the store, you see some Smokies and some buns, you might throw that in, right? Because it's quick. But what you're
Yes.
saying is you got to go back every once in a while because maybe tonight we want chicken and broccoli Alfredo. So you go back and then, oh, we don't want hot dogs tonight. So the next night you're like, oh, well, now I need to go get whatever hamburgers for the hamburger buns we have. Is that how it goes?
Well, kind of yes or no. It's established in this house that if it's purchased because we've discussed it, it like that's happening. No, I'm not going this morning when I was like, we're having hot dogs for supper, and you come home or Spencer's done school. My friends were talking about modern pasta. Now I'm craving pasta. Great. It's tomorrow. Not great. So not on like on a fly change, but
Yeah.
um yes, it's just the what do you have, what do you need, make sure, but again, we like to try the new things and stuff. It just depends. And the timing. Have I worked all day? Do I need something faster? Just yes, all science.
Do you ever just toss a Delicio in the oven?
Yeah, yeah, we can do that now. It's that process has been hard with like because now also with the science throw in Spencer's allergy.
There's a
Right.
what
You can't.
allergy?
Well, the wheat, like all grains.
Oh, shoot, like a gluten.
Yes, but also, yeah, but also the grains. So like the oat, the barley. He's sort of growing out of it now and can eat some of it. I think now it affects his tummy, but his allergy it was anaphylactic.
Oh my gosh.
So you really can't. So throwing that in, yeah, for me and Steve, but now
Yeah.
what percent? You got a one of his frozen pizzas is like $13 and it's this thick.
Right. Oh
Yeah,
my
so
gosh.
yeah, so throw in all of that as well. And it's been a little bit easier since he's challenging it a bit. It's sort of we had him scheduled for testing. It was sort of in the middle of COVID. And he is sort of growing out of it, but now I think it bugs his tummy now, I think. So it's sort of moved from a allergy to an intolerance. And you know what? Truthfully, it can be a pain in the butt with those things. But he eats very healthy and fresh. He eats almost all veggies and fruit. He loves, yeah. So it we try and still stick to that because the tummy pain isn't either. So
Yeah.
yeah, you throw that into it, and it's a good time.
Well, no, now it makes more sense why you're at the store more. If you really got to
Yeah.
be looking around and figuring out
Mhm.
what can we have for dinner that's kind of different. You don't want to feed
Yeah.
Spencer the same thing every single day.
Right.
Oh
Yeah.
well, now it all makes sense, LB. It all makes
Bring
sense.
them together.
Yep. Knew something was in there, hiding in there for you to find out.
There's always something, isn't there?
There always is. So LB, now that we are on April 2nd here, brand new month coming up
Yeah.
here. Anything to look forward to in April? What's putting the feel in your Tuesday?
Um, well, so for since we last chatted, just a lot of a lot of appreciation, I think. A lot of appreciation. Um, we've got some stuff going on in our world here, and the universe this week has definitely just thrown um people. The universe definitely thrown people and support and just it signs of things, then you see those as little signs. So just a lot of appreciation for that. I mean, my other niece's birthday coincided with that timing as well. So getting to go there and hang out with them, I mean, they are, of course, my people. And I had worked on a blanket for her. It was a crocheted blanket, but the like mushrooms because she loves mushrooms. So that was totally fun. You put a lot of work into something, and it's super fun to see, that get passed off. Um, just yeah, just sort of a lot. The friend who came in from out of town, we went to a board game cafe. I'd never been to one before. That was super fun.
Tell us
And
more about the board game cafe.
it was you walk in and I was like, what the just everywhere. I mean, I've been in game stores and it looks exactly like a bookstore, but games. Every shelf is like game to game to game, and wow, and it looked like that in there. And then, of course, there was place to eat and drink, and they bring stuff to your table. But there was one wall for like classic things like Scrabble, Monopoly, and then there was another one for like newer type ones. And so I think it was just the $10 you pay to come in and play. You stay as long as you want and just play. So we did one game that we have that I like that I thought my friend would enjoy called The Mind. And then one that they have played called Camel Up. And it's like you're betting on camel racing. So fun. It was
Wow.
so fun.
Was there any cats in this cafe?
There was no cats in this cafe. There were cat games
Okay. Snow
and a
cat.
panda one.
Oh, wow. So how long did you guys spend there?
Oh, at least like 2 or 3 hours. Yeah.
Nice. What a good
Because
day.
you said it was really nice. I mean, we had met for, come from out of town. So we had like met for coffee in the morning as well, and then sort of did some other things. Um, and then met back to do that. And it was nice to like, it was definitely a mood shift. It was at one point, I heard another table laughing, like laughing loud, one of those like, and I recognized in that moment that if it was earlier in the day, I probably would have been like, what are they so happy about? What do they have to be happy about? Like, because when you have something bigger, you have stress going on, you're like, eh. And I recognized that that was not my reaction. I had been in this cafe playing a game with a great friend for an hour. And when I heard it, I recognized it, I was like, yes, that sound to me right now is okay because my mood is switched, my this time, this valuable time. And so I made sure to vocalize it out loud and just say, you know what? I just sort of had this moment. And so I want to thank you again for taking the time to come here. They came from out of town just to, you know, be.
Hey,
And
that's
that,
awesome. You said your
yeah,
theme was appreciation.
yeah,
Well, that is amazing. Yeah, it ties all right back in there. That's
yeah.
awesome.
And everybody that did, somebody brought me, went to Costco and brought some stuff. I'm like, oh, this is on sale. Can you grab it for me? And also just like a giant bunch of flowers that weren't asked for.
Oh,
So
nice.
quite literally, a little Tim Hortons run ended up being a video date with someone who's super special to me. So yeah, and that also turned my mood that day. So it like almost every day the past week, the universe has just been, it's just
Nice.
been a reminder, right? So there's deep appreciation and patience because
You've been busy.
yeah, and patience. I've been, I repeat myself or forget. Sometimes if we've got a lot going on in our head, we don't retain as much. So I know people have been patient and they're just showing up with love, and I super appreciate it.
Hey, well, leave it to our loved ones to make us feel
Right.
special when we need it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Absolutely. What's been putting the feel in your Tuesday?
Oh gosh, well, a lot of great things. I did want to say one quick quote before we get into that because it just crossed my mind when you were talking about hearing other people laugh and that could put
Mhm.
you in either one or two moods. But
Yes.
here was a quote that it reminded me of. If you can be in a bad mood for no reason, then you can
Right.
be in a good mood for no reason. There you go.
See, there you go. Yeah, it's real easy to hear something, just differently. But I think a lot of us, if there's some stress or big things going on, we can, and just, if you're not conscious of it or putting in a big effort, you naturally maybe can have that reaction to some things. So I definitely just sort of recognized in that moment that if this was earlier today, I just know that I would have been like, which isn't normal. That's not normal for me. But
Yeah,
just it was nice to recognize that those are tiny things that happen when we're aware of ourselves, our surroundings. And so again, the second half of that, I've said it on here before. Speak it, speak it, say it.
absolutely. Put it into the universe.
Yeah,
So that was just a quick quote I wanted to get through because never know
right.
who could be listening and be like, you know what, that's so true.
Yeah,
Some days we wake up on the wrong side of the bed and we're just like, today is gonna be a day where I'm just grumpy. Well, you can
yeah,
kind of change it around. Today is just a day I'm gonna be happy and joyful for no reason. So
yeah.
yeah, just a little tidbit I'd share. But what's putting the feel in my Tuesday? It's great news for everyone who's been following Cross Canada Jax. I've been working on a book for the last 6 months, and I finally got to send that in to the printing company. For those listening and um, I'm sure no one's thinking, well, 6 months to write a book. That seems pretty normal. Maybe some people actually take a bit longer, but the whole process that goes into it, so you need to write your book, edit your book, find an illustrator for your book, um, and then you need to format your book. You need to get an ISBN code. Then you need to get a business number. And then you need to submit it for printing and make sure your formatting's all good. So it's a whole process to get that all done. And I've sent that in and it's off my back now. And now I can just look ahead to for some of you, I'm sure a lot of you know, but if any of you don't know, I'm going to be hosting a 45-day fundraiser for cancer research where I'm driving from St. John's, Newfoundland to Victoria, BC, going to pretty much every big city across Canada. And I'm going to be using social media as a tool to broadcast and advertise my endeavor. And I'm going to be selling this book, and $10 of every book sale is going to go to cancer research. So hopefully by the end of it, who knows what my total raised for cancer altogether will be. We're at 100,000 right now, but I would love to one day get that number up to 1 million. I know Run with Rob, he's raised $1 million for charity at this point
Wow.
in life. He's an amazing guy, and when I got to run with him in Manitoba, and he was just telling me all about all his philanthropic endeavors and how to really optimize and just do really good. And he was telling me about all of his charity things he's hosted. One of them being he would host a outdoor hockey tournament in Winnipeg. And at first, he had people pay to sign up, and all the people paying the sign up, he would donate that to charity. Well, he found that if he let teams join for free, and then he had advertisers kind of make the donations, then he just found he could raise a lot more. So he was
Oh,
such a
wow.
cool guy to sit there and talk with and to pick his brain. And we're still friends to this day. And he's we text sometimes and just talk back and forth. He's such a cool, nice guy, and he's raised $1 million for charity. He's done huge things for CMV in Manitoba, which is a birth defect, I think.
Okay.
And they weren't screening for CMV in Manitoba, but they were in Saskatchewan and Ontario. And
Okay.
his son has CMV, and he just wanted to that's why he ran across Manitoba. And then the last day of his run across Manitoba, they passed the bill that he was trying to get passed. So it was super cool for him. And
Oh.
all that long praise for Rob to say he's raised 1 million, and he's such a good resource for me to tap into to help with my charitable causes. Gosh, I think alongside everything else in life, I just think giving back is so important too. So I'm super excited to take on that 45-day fundraiser because the book
Yeah.
is all done. That's the next thing, finding all the venues. And then I come home from that and my baby will be born. So that'll be super exciting too. And then I'll go from there. But yeah, no more thinking about finish this book, finish this book. It gets to the point where not that anyone expects anything from me whatsoever,
Okay.
but as the leader of these projects, I just I like to be about it, not talk about it. So I didn't want to come. It's frustrating when you have to come back every week and not really, there is progress being made, but not progress in a way you can really explain to people. So just every week, it's just, okay, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. And most people are patient and people can wait, and but it's my own internal feeling where I just feel bad for leaving everyone hanging for so long. So it's just nice to have the book done, and now can actually keep moving forward in more tangible ways. So it's awesome.
Yeah, and because I mean this is episode 11 and 11, 111, 1, angel number 1, it's all about new beginnings and a new start. So, hey, look at that. Your announcement today. I mean, yeah, you're still doing the book tour and everything, but that big part leading up to there is no book tour without a book.
Yeah.
I mean, you could just bring any old other book, sure, but there is no tour without it. And so that part's done. And so now it's in the hot hands is the next step and on the way. So yeah, what a great day for new phase, new beginnings with number 11 here. I love that. Yeah. Well, congratulations. That's a big thing. I bet you that final send button, sending that in was like a, ah,
Yeah, I mean, I could still hear back today if there's some micro changes, but nothing to where it's gonna feel like this again. It's gonna just
yeah,
be okay, this, and this, and it's back out. So,
great,
no, and
great.
it's funny you say new beginnings specifically, because that's what's been going through ruminating through my mind this morning is it's new beginnings. Like I have I've been doing my cardio outside and I've got just some little 20-pound free weights that I've been doing a lot of my weightlifting with and just doing like push-ups, forget what people call it now, calisthenics, like weighted body exercise. And I was kind of feeling that new beginnings vibe this morning. And so there
I
was
love it.
like a funk in my head. I just didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And now that I'm out of the tunnel, I'm just like, I've been doing that routine, which has been keeping me at least in a base. But now I'm already thinking like maybe I'll go sign up to the gym at least like the month before I leave. I mean, I have a month where it's less mentally straining and I'll
Yeah,
just get back out to the gym. Why not? And so it's just all of those newness is ruminating. And where am I gonna put a little bit of my extra time now where I probably can spend 4 hours of my day? Sounds excessive, but I have to walk to the gym and then do my workout and then walk home and get into my
yeah,
routine. So that, you know, eight, whatever, all those hours I was spending on everything else
yeah.
before, I can kind of pivot a bit before I hit the road. And yeah, I mean, t-shirts are coming out soon and I want to get
Yeah.
those cut sleeves off again for this journey.
There you go.
Yeah, snow cross Canada Jacks without cut sleeves.
That's right. I mean, it just became the thing, right?
Yeah, now it's been too cold.
Well, I guess, right? Yeah, no, that is good. And to sort of head into that 45 days with that feeling of fresh, you're not slamming it back to back. Okay, it's done. I've sent it in. Let's go. Like
Yes.
you're giving yourself that build back up, um, get going fresh period, which is great. That's gonna probably make another huge difference for you. So I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, I had a plan and just stuck to it. Just, that's all you can do is make a plan and stick to it. You're gonna get, gosh, no plan. This was another thing I was thinking about yesterday. No plan is ever, ever, ever gonna go how you planned it. But if you stick to the plan, eventually you'll reach the goal of that plan. So the way I reached the end of this book, gosh, there's nothing what I could have planned came up everything in between, like even a baby. But
Mhm.
you just figure things out and you keep moving forwards. There was I posted a video yesterday just updating everybody on me and my life. And someone had made a comment because I had asked people to leave some comments, questions, whatever, and I was going to do some video replies. So today I'm going to be answering some people's questions just through a video reply. And
Yeah.
someone had asked me, well, what's going on with your run across USA? Because I had mentioned once before that that's going to be in the near future. And I just thought it was so funny because that's what made me think about plans because I plan to do that and I'm pretty sure I will do it and get it done. But just made me think it was kind of made me chuckle with, I can plan for that, but so much goes on in between that you can only plan so much.
There is an advantage to planning. There is an advantage to laying something out. I mean, usually it has to be something pretty ginormous or major to fully derail, but anything that like just makes little changes along the way, it's for something. Like it's for something. It is for if you're someone who believes in that. That was one of my questions I actually had for you today. If you're someone who believes in that, it's for something, that little blip that's been put in there. So it's great to still sort of plan it out and timing and everything. And, it still led you on the finishing it path. But yeah, are you, are you someone that you would say that you pay attention or notice signs in your world? And do you like enough that you watch out for them? And if you do you sort of like let it influence your world a little bit? Are you that sort of conscious of things that sort of happen around you, or were you someone who pays attention?
Well, I'll say two little stories about that because they're gonna be on different scales. So yesterday we were cleaning out the fridge and I had this T-bone steak Bales had got for me a couple weeks back and we had it in the freezer. And a couple nights ago I took it out and put it in the fridge to let it de-thaw before I cooked it. And
Yeah.
then I guess she was going through the fridge and threw out the steak.
Mhm.
And I was like, because she didn't think I was gonna make it. And then I'm like looking at the steak and I'm very squeamish with food and we were both like, is this good? But I took that as a sign. The fact that she threw it out by accident meant that it was meant to stay there because we did take it out. It was still in the pack. But then
Yeah.
we were like, if the universe put it in the garbage, let's keep it there. Maybe it's not a good steak to eat. So
Mhm.
that's like a micro sign where like little things like that I'll take note of and just be like, okay, I'm trusting the universe. But this was more
Okay.
of a bigger sign where these ones don't come to me often. It's like one of those moments where it kind of just hits you. And this was actually just happened yesterday. I went up to Edmonston, which is about a 45-minute drive from where we live in Grand Falls, where their Walmart there is so much better. They actually have groceries. Like
Okay.
our Walmart
Yeah.
here doesn't even have a meat section, basically
Oh,
just the freezers and the dry stuff. And then you have to go to Superstore, and then Superstore is not that
mm,
great. So the Walmart Edmonston is kind of where to go. So we go up
okay.
to Walmart Edmonston and do our grocery shopping. And then on the way back, we need to get some gas. So I stop in at the gas station. And this was before I had uploaded my video. I had to like do a little bit of edits. And the guy in the gas station, as I'm paying for the gas, it was like, are you Jackson by chance? And I was like, yeah, I am. He's like, oh, it's so nice to meet you. And I was like, oh, it's so nice to meet you too. And to me, not that was like just a sign to where keep posting videos, keep doing what you're doing because the word is getting out there of me and my endeavors, and it's clearly that guy had seen enough of me to recognize me to say something. So
Mhm.
no matter how much any of what I do impacts people on what level, it's just to me that was a sign to like keep going, keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I was gonna post that video anyways, but the fact that someone like just kind of recognized you out of nowhere and just through the fact that you post on the internet, it was just like just kind of perfect sign for me where it was like you're going in the right direction. Keep trusting this direction. And that's kind of the sign I got. And those big ones that hit me don't happen
Yeah.
a lot. Like honestly, it gave me the same vibes as the time you did that meditation for me. It was one of those
Mm,
big hits. But
yeah.
other than that, I find micro signs everywhere. I'm like, that's a sign.
Yeah.
Like, it's just
Right.
a
Yeah.
stop sign. That's a sign telling us to stop.
Right.
Long-winded
And
answer, but yeah.
no, that's fantastic. I love it because it recognizes the different levels. Because sometimes it needs to be shouted at you, maybe because maybe you've seen a little sign here or there, maybe passed it off, or maybe you just are stuck in the but maybe no. So sometimes it's got to be yelled, and so the bigger one shows up. Just so was that just out of my own curiosity? Was that the first time, like in the wild, that you've been like, and not just someone recognize who you are because you're walking down the highway, but was that the first time in the wild someone's been
So
like, "Are you Jackson?"
in the most modest way possible. It actually happens pretty decently amount. Like
Oh, does it? Okay.
in yeah, it seems like no matter where I go, someone will be like,
Uh-huh.
"Is that Jackson?" Like not everyday occurrence, but
Right.
couple times a month at least. I don't go many places very often. Like
Mm,
just in Grand Falls now, there's
yeah.
now that I like a couple people I've met around here that just follow the journey. So it's quite interesting that they'll be like,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh, you live here now." Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
But no,
That's
it's
fun.
awesome. It's such a I love talking to people, so
Mm,
it's almost like a free icebreaker now. Because if they'll approach me, I don't even have to approach them, and I don't need like I like when people want to talk because then I can make jokes. I love meeting strangers, and
mm,
you don't know each other, so no one knows where this is going. Where in my head, I know where I want to take it. I want to make cheap dad jokes and get some cheap laughs out of people. So, I'm just love talking to strangers, and I always got some sly remark, and I love to try and make people laugh. So, yeah, it's
mm,
awesome. Gives me more chances to do that when people come up to me. And there was a lady who came up to me in the post office the other day and was telling me how her father had just passed away and she's getting all his affairs in order. And she was like, feels like the universe sent you to me. You're like a fallen angel, and I feel so good that you're around me right now. And so I just started giving her a bunch of hugs. And
yeah.
I mean, she ended up posting that on picture on Facebook and wrote a whole paragraph about how it was destiny that she was meant to see me that day. And I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just so grateful that I can make someone feel that good and
Mm,
fulfilled in the moment of their loss. So, uh,
mm,
yeah, I'm just grateful that another long-winded answer, but nothing I ever imagined. I never thought people
yeah.
would recognize me to this day. I mean, maybe during and after I understand it, but fact that still to this day, I'm just so blessed and grateful.
Yeah, people can be, those little signs that show up, and that seems like what a fantastic one as well. That sign for you to show up at the gas station at a time where you're like preparing for this, just finished something huge, feeling a little bit of the new beginnings coming in here. Yeah, just to be show you. Yeah, it is. That was lots of hard work. There might have been some rough days and some, but look, keep going. Like, what a good one. And like I said, some are louder than others. I think I love hearing those stories. Sometimes it makes the little hairs stand up sometimes. If anybody has like a sign story they want to share, feel free to comment because I love to hear that. And it's not just the story that's fun. I love hearing that people recognize things as a sign. Like, yep, I seen that as that because it just gives yourself that little push, even if it's a warning or a positive thing. There's
Yes.
signs, everywhere. Yeah, love it.
Here's another quick story. This one's about Tammy, though.
Yeah,
Tammy owns the yarn store. She went into someone's boutique probably about a month ago now, and she had seen the lady was selling purses, but the purse was literally so when you crochet, you can make what's called patterns. And what people do is they print out your pattern and they follow your instructions. And if they follow your pattern, by the end of your pattern, they'll have a finished product of whatever your pattern was. So Tammy not only crochets, she designs patterns. So she had designed this pattern of a purse, she said something like 12 years ago. And she went into this boutique and seen this purse that was crocheted and it was exactly her pattern. And she was literally just telling us like a couple days before and in the lead up to that, I want to start designing patterns again. I want to start designing patterns again. Because well, really cool one for the people listening. Her biggest, most successful pattern she ever designed was when Riverdale, the show came out about Archie and Jughead. She
yeah,
designed a pattern for the Jughead Jones crown toque and put that on her Etsy. and that one just exploded. It blew up. She's so creative. Um,
Oh, that's
like
fun.
I want to say thousands of people ordered that pattern specifically,
Mm,
and
nice.
so she went into this boutique and seen this purse of her pattern literally as she's like telling herself, I need to start designing patterns again. And then
Yeah.
walks into the store and sees one of her patterns. And she's like, this is a sign. I need to start designing patterns again. So that one, that was a huge one that struck out to me too.
Yeah, if you're ever not sure, because the other little note I made with that question for you was just sometimes people will like try and talk themselves out of it, or just be like, it's almost like that bit of the gut feeling. You know what I mean? Like some people are like, oh no, that's not it. But I found myself saying to a friend the other day, it's kind of like you feel like you're in The Sims and your operator hit pause and then placed in front of you what you were needing or just talking about and then hit play again. That's
Yes,
that's what it is.
absolutely.
Or even if you overhear, you've been thinking about something lots and you're sitting in a cafe and you overhear people talking something and it relates to it. Doesn't matter where it can come from, like sight, smell, what, like doesn't matter. They're just always everywhere. And I just so love hearing, when people sort of recognize that. But you can also get the other end. There are people who, oh, I just figured it was a coincidence, or and that's okay too. It's all part of that, like gut and listening. But yeah, I love when there's a good sign put out.
I'm just gotta think it would be like, do you know people that are coincidenters and not signers? That makes sense.
Yep.
Oh, because I just think like, I don't know, like just doesn't seem like a very like I don't want to say fulfilling, that seems too harsh, but
Right. I
where
see what you're.
yeah, you see what I'm trying to say? If things are just coincidences, then like I don't know, maybe you just don't have much of an imagination. It just seems I don't know. I guess some people are very just not, very not. What's that word when you like believe in luck?
Oh, like superstitious, you
Yeah,
mean? Like,
superstitious. Some people are
yeah.
just so not. They're just very much based in evidence, reality. But hey, one could argue that sign is evidence.
Yeah, right. I mean, even coincidences, I think, are a little bit giant car accident on the way to work, on the road, blah blah blah. Let's choose that one. But for some reason, the phone rang, and you were stuck on it for 10 minutes this morning and missed the accident. Even that is, well, so who was on the phone? Why? What did they need? Why did they call you at that time? Like, yeah, they're coincidences. Yes, there is a reason it's the accident because you picked up the phone. Like all those type coincidences as well, but it's still a lead back. In to someone like me in my head, I'm like, it's still a lead back. Why did you answer the phone? Why didn't you just? I have to go. I'll check my voicemail when I get home. Why did you spend the time on the phone, that 10 minutes? Why didn't you, okay, my cell, I'm just getting in the car. Like, there's just, to me, there's just too many things that, so maybe not the actual accident itself, but let's go back to what you know what I mean?
Well, I am right there with you in your camp, LB, but I have a little bit of a devil's advocate now for you. So
Oh,
maybe in like, and let's say narcissism is too far, but let's say in our own little, we all live in our own little world, so we're all going to be narcissistic to some degree. But let's
right.
just say in our little world, we know like, oh, thank God this phone call, or we forgot something at home and we had to
Yep.
go back and, we have a guardian angel. So, but what happened to then the person who caused the accident? Why didn't they get a guardian angel? You know what I mean? What do you think about that?
Well, so the person who caused the accident. Um,
Because they didn't get that
well, let's,
phone call, to stay home 5 extra minutes.
right.
So maybe,
Well,
yeah.
yeah. So, well, but so the person who got in the accident instead, yeah. Um,
It's a tricky
I
one.
don't
I'm
know.
on your side, but now I'm just like, well, now what?
Well, so this is just the first thing that comes to mind. Just trying to think of that. So perhaps this person who gets into an accident, let's play the devil's advocate, in a positive way. Broken a leg. Let's just say nobody died, but we have broken a leg. The car, blah, we broke a leg. Is this someone who's insanely busy and won't stop, even though they know they should, or they're stressed, or whatever it is? So has the universe now put some signs? It's not happening. The louder one. Okay, well
Mm,
now you can't move. Broken leg. Sit. Now
right.
that's extreme. Not to say that that is extreme. Not to say that,
No,
you know what I mean. But you can,
someone
you know,
who's so busy they just like can't take a second to stop. They're blah, 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 blah. And then so then they cause this accident. So the guardian angel that told you, hey, there's gonna be a crazy guy out on the highway. You stay home. And then that guy's guardian angel's like, we're gonna break this guy's leg so maybe he can rethink some things.
yeah, or maybe, and it depends on how strongly you think about it. Maybe it's not a busy one. Another one to think of is like, maybe this person really shouldn't be driving. Like, were you a candidate on Canada's Worst Driver? Like, were you, but we're not hitting it or whatever, or we're not whatever. Maybe there's a course you should be taking, a safety. So when that accident happened, we decide who's at fault. So does that a suspend a license for a bit, and now the police are like, you need to go and retake a course? Is
Hmm.
that the universe? Just little things like that. There might be something separate in their world. Now, again, I know that seems extreme because the accident isn't necessarily a positive thing, but it might be, something in their world that's needed, or, you know, shake something up, shake the snow globe so there can be a refocus, who knows?
Apps, no, that's a great way to answer it. Other than like tragic fatalities, which I mean,
Right.
we are human beings and like there are
Yes.
tragedies that happen. It's just unfortunately the sad thing to life. But if you're not reaching that fatality point or like extreme paralyzation or
Yes.
whatever, you're still alive and breathing. No, that's too true because maybe like there's a meaning behind everything, whether you want the meaning or not.
Right.
There's gonna be a meaning behind it. So no,
Yeah.
this kind of just came to my mind because if we're all supposed to be these spiritual beings that can connect with these greater forces, then
Mm.
why I'm just kind of curious in my mind, like what happens to the person who was in the accident, not the maybe the 500 people that also took phone calls that morning.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's so wild, and it's definitely a thing that can like blow open up quite, you know, the discussion, because there's both sides to every single aspect of that. But just on the surface of it, yeah, you're right. I'm someone who also thinks there's meaning to sort of things when they happen, and the timing. So yeah, it's signs are such a fun little, and some people will be right into them to the extent that it will influence their day a little bit, right? Like, not that you're out like searching for it, but um yeah, it will influence your day a little bit. Like, for the example in the board game cafe, i I took that, we were surrounded by people, and after I heard that first table of laughter, I realized there were lots of tables doing it, but for some reason that one was meant to hit the ear, to sort of show me that you're in a shift here. There's a shift here. Acknowledge that and feel it. That was sort of meant to happen, even though it was probably happening a whole bunch already. I just didn't. So
Right.
one to be louder. You know what I mean? Those kind of things, I think,
No,
are just.
I love it. I love the way it all makes way too much sense. So, as a signer yourself, I know you had brought up the one from the board game cafe, but is there any signs to you that just stick out from your entire life where you're like, this is the sign that I'm never gonna forget?
Um, Well, there was a one. I think I was like in high school. It was like high school age, and I had gone for a walk or something. I was by myself, and I was sitting down on like a bench or whatever, like on a street close to my school. I don't remember if this was during school hours or what. And whatever, something was wrong. Who knows what it was? Was it teenage angst? Who knows what it was? But I was sitting there feeling, I just, because I don't remember what it was, but I do remember that I was really feeling, I was deep in it. And this complete stranger walked by and like stopped and backed up and looked at me. It's just this guy with a backpack wandering by, and he looked at me and he just sort of said, nothing in life is worth that much sadness. And I was just like, oh, okay, obviously this is, you can see this obviously, like just in passing, it was enough for him to notice, right? I was like, oh wow. And so then I was like, okay, this person walked by, stopped, backed up. Something in his head was like, no, stop and say something to this person, as opposed to keep walking. And so I definitely took that as a like, okay, what are you sitting here for? Like I remember sitting there computing it and being like, okay, yeah, he is right. So whatever it wasn't a deep, deep thing that I couldn't pull myself out of. But I just remember being like, okay, this was sent to me for a reason. This random stranger being like, buck up. Like, little things like that. When they happen, that was a big one because it was a stranger. Sometimes we get signs around people we know. The ones that really stick out to me are like a stranger. Yeah.
Yes, those are always the coolest ones when it's a strange man. And it's
Yeah.
just like, obviously he's a normal man or woman to their family in regular life, but to you, you're like, yes, that was probably Jesus in and of
Right.
himself.
Well, and I don't know necessarily if it was a side. This might sort of crest. The only other one that's sort of coming to my mind right now that it might crest beyond sign, but the walking to high school one day, uh, I cross a one major street, Center Street, and it sort of like leads up to the hill going down to downtown. So it was kind of a busy area, and I had my Walkman on, Walkman days, and I was standing on the corner, and I listen to my music loud. There is no volume down, just and an accident happened. It wasn't a giant one. It was just a fender bender, but I didn't hear it. And it turned the car towards me. And by the time I seen the car, it was too fast to react. But somehow I was sitting on like the sidewalk, the ground beside it, without like. But I was on the corner of the sidewalk by myself. But I was moved, like not by the car. Like I all of a sudden I was whoosh. And so that one to me was another big like, or the person just ran. I don't know, but I was like, I don't remember seeing anybody else or nobody else stayed or whatever. It was just, I was moved out of the way of that car. And then it was like, it stopped when it hit the light pole and I was standing in front of the light pole. So that's a
The
big
heck?
sign.
How do you explain that one?
Yeah, that was another big sign that I think of. Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
do you have any like big other major ones? Or from when you were
Um,
younger? Like, do you think you've always recognized those things, even in your younger years?
well, another one that pulls out to me, I don't even know if it's a sign, but it's one that maybe my brain has never figured out what it meant. It was so odd. But this isn't even a sign. Maybe it's just more trying to discover the sign within it, maybe, or
Yeah,
I don't know. But let's dive into this one. So,
yeah,
I was in Ontario on around the Lake Superior, and this is when I was doing my journey, and this was very like secluded stretches from like Nipigon, if you know that, to like Sault Ste. Marie. You only have like White River, Wawa, and Terrace Bay in the middle of all that. I don't even
okay.
know. Yeah, you got like three little small towns with not much in it. And I'm like pretty far from all of them. And so I'm just walking down the side of the road and look to my left, there's in the forest, there was two people in full bug suits just sitting in the woods, and they were kind of waving me over. They looked all dirty and like they were on like, maybe even living in the woods. But how are they living in the woods if there's nothing around them and they didn't have a
Mm,
vehicle? I think they might have had bikes. I don't know. But
okay.
they're in the middle of the woods. They look pretty dirty. They're wearing mosquito nets because there were so many bugs out there. And they're just sitting like kind of off the side of the road. So maybe they were just taking a break from something. But then they kind of waved me over and I just kind of went like this, like pointing in that direction, like I'm gonna keep going. And but to me, like I had never seen something so strange and
Yeah.
so just didn't sit with me. I almost felt like it didn't even feel like people I should go talk to. That
Yep.
makes sense. Like normally I would go talk to people, but that one just felt too weird. And ever since
Mhm.
then, I don't know if that was a sign for something, but my brain will think about it every once in a while, especially when this stuff gets brought up because it was never solved in my own mind. I never concluded why that happened, why they were there, what was going on. My brain is just going to be endlessly curious, I guess, about those people. Think it might have been a man and a woman and just dirty in the forest. And this is like a very, can't stress this enough, super isolated place. Like, why would anyone be there? And yeah.
Did they call out to you? Like, what made you look over?
I'm just walking by and I honestly just see their silhouettes and I'm like, is that like dirty people? And
Mm,
they were wearing clothes, but you could tell their clothes were dirty. It's not like they had white clothes. They were in darker clothes, but you could just see the dirt on them and see like
mm,
it's the same vibe when you would see like a tree planter in the wild. Like, so when we were
mm.
going through Dryden, there were all these like dirty, whimsical people. We were like, where are they coming from? Like, Rob and I were so convinced there was like some kind of like alien invasion. We weren't sure. And then we forget how we found out, but yeah, there's a bus that takes the tree planters into Dryden to go and pick up treats or whatever at Walmart and get their groceries, and the bus takes them back to their sites so that they can whatever. But so those people made sense why they were so dirty, the tree planters. But these people in the woods, they didn't call out to me or anything. I just seen them and I look over at them and they must have seen me, whatever, coming the whole time, and they kind of waved me over. And I just gave them like I gotta keep going and my brain never figured that one out.
Yeah, see, because you're walking along this stretch, and so if you want to like really take it, what made you look over at that point? Nobody called out to you. Why did you? Were you always looking across the street? Like, yeah, you could certainly do that. I mean, if you're really bored one night, you could be like, were there actual people sitting there?
Yeah, I think so.
We're going to get into it, and one night you want to play that out in your head. Bring that one up.
The highway is a very strange place. Like,
Yeah.
that wasn't the only time I'd seen strange, dirty people on the side of the highway. Um, I had about six encounters. They were the
Mm,
weirdest, though. They were the weirdest. But when you see these drifter-like people on the side of the road, and you see how dirty they are and weathered they are, and it's like you get such a crazy feeling inside. I want to almost say, like, I don't know what it is. There's different feelings for everyone, but it's almost like this human being isn't like the rest of us in a way where it's like that sense comes over you where this person hasn't been abiding by the general rules of society. This is like a very interesting, like so
mm.
interesting the kinds of people you see just on the side of the road. Like a couple different times I'd seen people just sitting there with like guitars. It's like, what are you doing on the side of the highway, the middle of nowhere with a guitar? I'm sure they're hitchhiking, but it's
Yeah.
just it's fascinating. And then the last one I want to talk about was this one. It kind of gave me like an animalistic feeling where I was in Nova Scotia again, where it's like you're in the middle of the highway, not close to many any towns really. So you're not going to have many other pedestrians, always vehicles. And then I'm
Yeah.
walking down the highway and I'm on the left side of the road walking towards traffic. And then there is another man who should have been on the other side of the road, but he was on
Okay.
my side of the road. And so we're coming and we're in the middle of nowhere. And luckily this was when it was still winter. So I still had like necks warmer and stuff. And so this man walking with a backpack had his neck warmer up to his eyes. So all you could see was his eyes. And you don't know if this guy's a threat or not. You're in the middle of the highway in the middle of nowhere. And
Yeah.
so I pulled mine up and everything too. And and we're getting closer and closer to each other. And of course, I'm just like give him a big wave because it's almost like break the tension. And he just
Yes.
kind of gave me like a straight face look. I could tell he gave me a straight face look as we just like cross, and I'm just like, give him a big smile and a wave. And he might have been just as scared as me, and like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna keep my cool like this.
Yeah.
But you get these really weird, like primal, like
Yeah.
instincts within you. But yeah, you see a lot of weird people out on the side of the road. I was one of them.
Well, well, I mean, it's just such a different, and it's so wild too. Sometimes even little things like that. What are the odds I'm about to pass someone else?
Yeah, you never expect
Walking
it.
on the highway, it's almost like you want to have an interaction because it's such a neat moment, almost because it's so rare. And that is a little. I think that falls under the sign umbrella as well. It's like we're not all just passing each other on the highway. We're not vehicles. Like those little things when they happen, just recognizing a rare moment. Yeah.
Yeah, well, one more just to touch on this topic. I don't know if you were watching that day I ran into Alone Across Canada, Adrian
Yes.
Collison, but to see someone like I was just like I can never experience what it would have been like to see me out there and to meet me out there. But I got to experience that with a couple other travelers where um, I met this guy who was biking across Canada on the side of the road, and it's just so cool to see them because if you like been following their journey, you know where they came from,
Yeah.
and they also they look like they've been living it. They're so tan, they're getting so thin. It's just like there's an aura and a vibe that gets put off from these people, and it's so cool. It must just be because it's so out of the ordinary from the average
Yes.
journey you meet people when they're on. Like if you see someone at the grocery store, they're not on as much of a journey. They're on a journey to their grocery store. But if
Yeah.
you meet some guy who's on the side of the road after 80 days of biking, he's been on a journey. And so it's just a whole different vibe. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. If it's out of the ordinary, that's a very good way to put it. If it's out of the ordinary, it's almost like that might be your sign of something different happened. Like we've all sort of said that in our lives. Oh, the phone seemed to ring differently that day. Like the ring sounded different, or that made the hair on my arm stand up, or whatever it is. If something's a little bit out of the ordinary, then you kind of, yeah, it's just that kind of world when you're meant when something is meant to sort of pop up for you. It's those are the fun little signs.
Yeah, I wonder if anyone listening had a moment in their life where they're like, this was a huge sign, and they
Yeah.
kind of live by it.
Yeah, if anybody feels like sharing theirs, because it's just such a big, I love that topic. I could listen to that like forever, where people find their little treats, their little signs. Love it.
Yeah, one last one for me, and then maybe we could read our card for the day.
Yeah.
Um, just for me, it's the meditation stuff. So I
Mm.
used to dabble in it when I was younger, and then it literally felt like I was sitting on my windowsill watching my own body, like an out of body experience. And then I always talk about when you did that meditation for me,
Yep.
and I totally had like a blackout moment. And so I just love those signs like that because to me, those are just signs, especially to keep leaning in to the unknown, keep
Yes.
an open mind, an open heart, and just
Yeah.
experience life no matter what. And yeah, I love those signs.
Lean into those little things, and even if it's not necessarily a positive thing sometimes, and if you can, sometimes you can sit there and think, okay, I probably have been given lots of little signs and I probably haven't been listening, so is this the louder one?
Yeah.
Is this the louder? They're not always necessarily positive, and then there's people who like attach, really do, and it's a great, every time they see a penny it's blank, and then you're seeing pennies everywhere. Well, in the US maybe not so uncommon, but here it certainly is now. Or like feathers, like all those little things that people kind of,
Yes.
yeah, love it. Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
and part of it though, it's like, let's say you've got an eagle feather with you and you want to carry that strength. Just the fact that you've made that, even if it's such a micro mental note, your
Yes.
mind is gonna, your subconscious is gonna like retain that I've got this feather. It's my duty now to keep it safe. I'm gonna go on with more strength. It's just gonna be more, it's baked in without realizing it. And the more you want to like trust it and understand it and lean into it, you can be like, well, this gives me strength. But it, like, let's say someone were to present you with something and be like, I want this to keep you good luck. Um, like, I think our subconscious in some way is gonna find a way to like do it for us.
And if that's been fostered, like it's sort of the equivalent of like, okay, it's time to go get groceries. Your toddler's in the costume because it makes them invincible. Like, not just I love Superman, but let's say your toddler wears the costume because, yeah, it gives them confidence. It makes them feel, and you're like, hey, take the costume off. We're going to the store. It's the same as, well, just let them wear it to the store. I don't care. Like, do you have one of my size? Like, whatever. If that's what makes you feel. So you're right. You're attaching, if that's fostered in you, because I'm sure all kids do it. I mean, kids are very, um, they sense things, they see things. We all have that in us, right? And so maybe if you lose it, if it's not fostered or supported, but yeah, it's just let those little things, kids see things, pay attention to things. You can tell the people that have always sort of lived it. You can see the difference in there.
Absolutely. I mean, kids, kids and babies, you can learn so much from as an adult because
Yeah,
we forget what it's like to be a kid and a baby, and we start to conform and, change our ways, but they're the most unbiased, like living just true to the soul as you can get.
yep.
And
Like at that raw level.
I think we think of like kids since they're younger and they don't have as much life experience. It's like, well, why would you want to be a lesser version of yourself? We might think that, where it's like we were less when we were kids, so why would we ever even want to lean back into that inner child?
Yeah,
I could be more productive and useful as an adult, like leave the child for the children. But
yeah.
I think that's being a little too closed-minded because I think there's a lot you can learn from the joy of a child and the innocence that if the world was perfect, I feel like maybe we all would have kept. But it's like the harsh
Mhm.
realities that start to jade you and morph you, and basically
Yes.
you're starting to act on how to survive rather than
Yeah.
like talked about just to live and be yourself.
Yeah. And if that's out of you, then you're not recognizing that there is no harm in still wearing that to the, and now you're trying to like, oh no, that's ridiculous, just take it off. We're trying to, whatever you do. So yeah, it's definitely a bigger thing, but if we can sort of recognize it and hold it and keep up with that, I think it's so important. And it gives us it also gives us an extra reason to pay attention. Signs, right? To Because it's just a little thing, even if it's like a billboard that you pass and you're like, oh my god, I was just thinking about that. Or it just has some random saying on it that has to do with Taco Tuesday, but for some reason, it, whatever you're going through, it hits your ear and it gives you inspiration for something. You passed that billboard 100 times and never looked at it, but today you did for some reason. So just, yeah, it's an extra reason to pay attention and look around. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think I feel like we're probably on the same level when it comes to signs, where it's like a
Mhm.
spectrum. You've got your little ones that happen all the time, but then some speak louder than others, and
Yeah.
yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Gotta pay attention.
Yes, that's right. Well, so our card for today is a reflection card. And what a crazy one for to come out for today. So today's card, it says today, find a way to thank someone who has been there for you when you most needed it.
There we go. That ties in
Right?
with your appreciation too, LB.
When it popped out, I was like, well, there we go. There we go. So yeah, today find a way to thank someone who has been there for you when you most needed it. And the top is a quote from Alice Walker that says, "Thank you is the best prayer that anyone could say."
Love
Such a
that.
simple, yeah, such a simple, even if it's not recently, something that happened recently, speaking that speaking that thank you. And it's beyond, this is like beyond the person that held the door open for you today. In my mind, it's beyond like the normal, oh, they let you go in front of you at the bank, that kind of thing. Those are our normal thank yous that we should, in society, we should probably give out. But really, someone that was there for you when you most needed it. Everybody's maybe take some time today or whenever to think of someone who recently has really been there when you needed it. And if you didn't voice it, whatever, write a card, make a call, send a flower, something.
Right. I don't know what other people's friendships look like. Maybe you could tell me what yours look like in a slightly LB, but um I love positive affirmation. I love telling my friends I love them. I love thanking them for all that they do. I know like it feels good to be appreciated, and I know it feels exactly the same way if Bailey were to say to me like just out of nowhere, thanks for everything you do. It's like, like those hit so much different because you just feel appreciated and seen. And do you constantly do that a lot, LB, or is that something you don't do very much in your relationships?
Yeah, I will voice. I mean, I will voice that with my friends, whether it's something different, appreciation, thanks for coming out, or just, you're the funny one. Thank you for being the one. Like,
Yes.
whatever it is. I certainly try my best because I really think that to see something, say something. Um, and because of such of a high level my friends are at for me, my friends are my family. um I find it really important. But even like your example with Bailey, like the random, I'll try and remember to do that randomly with Steve. It's not necessarily something that, oh, you changed my oil today, thank you. It's absolutely nothing's happened, we're just sitting there having coffee, and you just look and be like, just thanks for being you, just a random, like, just speak it, right? Just speak it. So I try and really do that the best I can. But I also try and attach, if it wasn't for something, oh, thank you for holding the door. Oh, thank you for changing my oil. If it's a random one, I like to attach what makes that thank you special for you. Like,
Mm.
what did you do? Thank you for always listening. Thank you for always making me laugh. You know, thank you for being the one I can cry with. Whatever. It makes people feel good to have that extra, this is why I'm important to you.
Absolutely. And in theme of it all, LB, I'm going to thank you for being the wonderful, shining light I get to talk to every Tuesday. And I love that we get to, it's just become such like just feels like a friendship that we've had more than we've had it. You know what I mean? It just,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. We were meant to be friends, LB, and I just love you to
Yeah.
bits.
Yeah, because we're growing and learning about each other, and that's the point of the foundation. It's growing. Well, yours to me is easy, and it's been that way since I chose the word to put on your card. It's just thank you for the hope that you put out there. Thank you for who you are. Um, Yeah, just the bright light and amazing energy that you have. Thank you for who you are and what you're putting out there. And it's always hope. I just think you're putting out so much hope.
Don't make me cry, LB. We'll see.
Oh God. Well,
Find
yeah,
out.
and I'm trying not to as well. But
Trying to
we
find my hope card.
oh
All I've got is these wanted cards.
those are those are hilarious. I used to have it in my phone. Oh, my phone's in front of me. I just had that old lady moment where glasses are on your head and you look for them for 20 minutes.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
No.
I'll have to
So
send you these one of these days.
oh, cute, the bongos.
Anyway,
Yeah, so everybody just express the reason to people, and even if you it's the same people you're thanking, there's different things to thank them for. I think that's great.
absolutely. I just think like this world is so much better when we're grateful. And then when you know you're appreciated and that everyone's grateful, it's just such good
Mm,
energy. It's
yeah,
just, it's almost the worst thing ever.
yeah.
Opposite of grateful, ungratitude, where it's just like sometimes nothing you can do is enough. It's like, oh, you got the hot dogs out for supper. I just think it's like, okay, and then you're gonna get hot dogs out for supper. It's the fact that we at least get to eat hot dogs for supper is like it's a blessing in my mind.
Yeah,
It's like not everyone even has a meal tonight.
I
So,
know.
and then someone be like, well, hot dogs again, and it's like this isn't a personal thing, but it's just kind of relating.
Yeah.
And then it's just like I don't know, life feels so fun and good when you're just grateful for everything. Like when you're eating those hot dogs, like, yes. I could have not had a meal tonight. It tastes so
Mhm.
good. But when you're eating that hot dog and you're like, ugh, hot dogs again, it's gonna taste so much worse. I don't know.
Yes, right. You attach that sort of thing. And they're pretty good. It's just the like if you're like being tired or lazy, you sort of go back to the easy ones, right? Spaghetti, yes, okay, great. That'll just take
Yeah.
20 minutes. And that's when it can be. But we all love like trying new things, like cooking and new ingredients. I did this thing with, I'll just throw it out there because maybe it's an idea for people. One of my really good friends, sister-in-laws, I think she used to do it with her friends. So it was me and her and my friend. And so each week you like drew who you were buying for. There was a budget, so it was like 20 or $25. And you had to go buy random ingredients that they had to use in a recipe and like drop it on their doorstep. And so like every Sunday we would do it. And then we'd Marco Polo video chat as we were doing it and be like, okay, I picked this recipe to use these ingredients in. And sometimes it's stuff you've never tried. And so it's forcing you to do something different. And then you did end up buying for a new person every week. And that was a lot of fun. That was something different for like cooking. You put the budget for everybody. And yeah, I think that was the first time I had tried cremini mushrooms. Those showed up on my doorstep in my bag of stuff. And I was like, oh no, because I'm not a fan of like shiitake or portobello. I'm
What?
like, do those? I don't know. I like mushrooms, but not those two. They're too woody. I don't know. So I'm like,
Okay.
is this? I'm like, is this taste like those at all? Totally didn't. They were so good.
Oh,
So
nice.
just finding different ways to bring the groceries in.
I know you and your groceries, LB. I love it. We found a new thing about LB. Her in the grocery store.
Oh Lord, ask me my live if I do a live at night. One out of four times I'm discussing the fact that, oh man, I have run out of coffee creamer. I have to go get that in the morning. And
Uh,
so the next time I'm live, they'll ask me, did you get your coffee?
yeah, I'm gonna tease you about this now. Now that I know you in the grocery store is like a thing,
Yeah,
I'm gonna beat that in like an old drum.
I love it. Well, and then the only other homework I'll give everybody, because it will be April 8th before we meet next, Google it if you're in the East. I mean, it's not a big path, but anybody who's like Niagara Falls, Toronto-ish, a little south of it area, you're going to get that solar eclipse. You're going to be able to see it. In your area, Fredericton, Miramichi, you're going to see like that path. You'll be able to see the total part of the eclipse. I mean, we're going to see like 28% of it, but the totality for the people in Canada, just sort of sneaking in that part of Ontario, just south of Toronto, and then a little bit through New Brunswick. It'll be about 3 minutes long for New Brunswickers.
Awesome. Cool. I'm
Total
gonna
darkness.
kind of made me think of it. It's kind of funny. So that's the one you need the special glasses for, right?
For the total, yes.
So Bailey's brother and his mom were selling the glasses on Facebook Marketplace. They had ordered a bunch and they were selling them for like $10 each.
Yep.
And then all these businesses started giving them away for free. So then all these people on Facebook were like, well, we all these businesses are giving away for free. You're just ripping people off now. I just thought that was funny.
Yeah, yeah, there are some. I think the last time we had one, I think like we went and watched it at my dad's, and I think they had found like a way to make your own or something. I think it just had to do with like the size of the hole that you look through or whatever. Yeah, just absolute. That'll be fun for you guys to be able to get in that small. It's so crazy to see. Even just Google it to see the path. It's just so thin, and you're like, wow, look at how lucky you are to be. Is that a sign that you were in this tiny path on April 8th, be able to see the total eclipse? It's such a thing to experience.
I'm gonna have, is this something I can like film on my camera for everyone to experience with me, or is it you have to be there kind of deal?
Well, yes, but you might. I haven't tried to do that like with a live video, but it might be like, you have to change brightness, contrast, etc. Because when you point your camera at the moon, it's just this bright ball. It's not what your eyeballs see. So it might be a little, but you could play with it.
And one last thing, I need to get a refix this here. So it was not Bailey's brother. Bailey's brother's name is Logan, but it was a different Logan who was selling the
Oh,
glasses. And then people
oh,
were so I got them mixed up there. But I guess Bailey is listening through the door. She's like,
hi,
that was
Bailey.
not my brother. It was a different Logan. I'm like, oh, okay.
Different Logan, different Logan. Yeah, so that's April 8th, everybody. Yeah, and I think it might be fourth for New Brunswick. I think it's 4:30ish in the afternoon, I think. But yeah, everybody, if you're bored, Google it. And yeah, if you have fun sign stories, let us know. And here we are, New Beginning, episode 11 feels. I hope everybody out there is doing great. Pay attention, thank your people. Watch for the little signs, and yeah, just get out there.
Amazing. I think this was a great episode. And yeah, tell us if you have any sign in your life that stuck out more than most, or even a little one, something that's kind of more silly and funny. Not, it doesn't always need to get so deep and so serious.
Right.
Life is, keep it lighthearted.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Well, thanks for another great one, you guys. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Take care.